Welcome to Inside New Albany Football with Coach Cody Stubblefield. I'm Jody Walls.
I'm Brady Brock.
We're with Gumtree Mortgage here in New Albany over on Starling Avenue. We specialize in home financing needs, whether it's a purchase, a refinance, or a new construction.
And we're super passionate about trying to help you find the home of your dreams, help you get it financed, just like this one right here.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Up in a game. You come out and hit them in the mouth from the first play, we're going to be fine.
I'd like to welcome you to Inside New Albany Football with Coach Cody Stubblefield, brought to you by Gumtree Mortgage and Mr. Jody Walls. Coach, coming off a great year last year, I know y'all hit it hard this summer. Tell us a little bit about what your summer was.
Yeah, we finished the year 8-3 last year. Had a good year. Anytime you win 8 games, I think that's a good standard for any caliber football. Just about. Excited about the offseason we had. Attendance was high. Guys' effort. I think we've had more people not during practice but up here on their own working out than we probably had in a long time. So excited about the work that was put in over the summer, the weights, the strength of game, the speed, those types of things. And then as we got into camp, we worked really hard for the last few weeks, and finally game week's finally here. So we're excited about that.
Our record last year, what we finish up?
8-3.
8-3. Great season.
Great season. They ended up second round playoff loss to Louisville last year. Everything kind of goes through Louisville these days in 4A.
Well, Louisville, they are the top of 4A football right now, and so we met them early in the second round. Lost a close game against Senatobia. One that kind of went down to the wire. Didn't finish it exactly the way we wanted to. Had a chance for an onside kick. Would have liked to recover to that because I like our chances if we do. But losing to them put us second in the division, so we matched up the second round with Louisville. Went there, rainy night, not what we want to really see for our offense, even though you got to push through that, and just came up short that night. So, got a lot of those guys are back, a lot of talent on this team this year, so we're excited about getting another opportunity at them.
I want to echo one thing you did say. I've been up here a lot of times walking on the track, some over the summertime, and a lot of guys out working on their own. No coaches here available, but wide receivers, quarterback. Very impressed with the leadership of your young guys.
Yeah, it was exciting. If I was up here mowing the field or something like that, there'd be 2 or 3 guys doing footwork drills or ball drills. Braden would get up here and they'd have receivers up here throwing routes and stuff. I know a couple of times we turned the lights on for them so they could beat the heat a little bit and get out here and throw. So, we've got linebackers coming doing drills, different things. Colin Knox was up here a lot on his own during the summer. I'm looking at Twitter and Facebook and things, and I'm seeing them tag themselves in little videos showing people that they're working. So I think football is important to them. You want to get a program where it's important to the kids, important to the community, those types of things. And I think based on their work ethic and the way they're working on their own, it's definitely important to our guys.
Well, that goes back to leadership. That shows you got great leadership in your team.
Well, we've got an experienced older group. I think we're a balanced team in a sense of we've got some guys that are going to impact the game from top to bottom. There's some sophomores that are going to play and be a big part to it. There's a lot of juniors, and then there's some seniors that have been with us for a long time now. So that leadership is definitely important. Those older guys just kind of steering the ship, so to speak.
Also in leadership, Coach, you're coming in this year as the 3rd leading winning coach in New Albany history. So you're behind.
Been here a little while now. This is year 7.
Year 7. You're behind Ben Jones and Ron Price, which are some big names for New Albany high school football.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate. We've been supported. Administration has always supported us very highly. The community has supported us. We've had a great coaching staff. I think my whole career here, all the past 7 years, a lot of the guys are the same. Some new coaches, some old ones, but the bulk of us have been here. Anytime you're able to keep coaches around, we learn each other. They learn what the expectations are. They learn the kids. So, and there's a lot less just leeway there. You're focused and going, and so. That's a big part of it. Anytime you're able to keep good people around you, that's a big thing. We've also been talented. We've got as much talent as on this team this year, I think, as we've had in a while. The leadership there is high too. So a lot of things, a lot of variables go into that.
Got a lot of coaches that are coming back from this year. Colin Stubblefield, your brother there, got him as offensive line coach.
Yeah, Colin's offensive line coach, offensive coordinator, so a lot of the offensive game plan goes through him. It's a title he's had for a little while. Kind of turning those keys over a little bit more to him this year, and that's a hard thing for me. I've done offense now for a while, and he does a really good job and is completely competent in it. And so I feel myself at times just wanting to kind of get out there a little bit more. But he does a great job. We're excited about him doing more of that. Josh Kerbo's another guy, is back for his second year. He's been here the whole time, just took 1 year off and went to Myrtle for a year. But we're excited about him, what he brings to the offensive side of the table. New coach is Lane Plunk. Lane Plunk's the guy that was at Faulkner last year. He's a receivers coach for us, the East Union guy. Just an athletic guy that's played multiple sports in high school, played baseball at Blue Mountain, but familiar with the game. As a first-year guy at Faulkner last year, he kind of ran the defense, and so we transitioned him to the offense. He's picked up on it really fast. He works really hard, and he's building great relationships with our kids. So he's doing receivers, and then I kind of round out the offensive staff right there. On the defensive side, Coach Kendall Murphy, this is his, I believe, his second or third year as the defensive coordinator. Kendall does a great job. He's a guy that just anything we need him to do, he's going to do it, and they're always prepared defensively. Sean Sanks is another young guy that helps us. Sean's been here, I think, 6 years. I think he wasn't here our first year, but came in. His wife's Mary Scott Sanks, does cheerleading for us, so he's involved in the church in town. Just a huge part of our community and an asset to our coaching staff. Ryan Summers is a guy that does the middle school. He's the AD, middle school head coach, and he also helps us out at high school, does some things at track. Coach Summers has been a head coach before at Saltillo. He's been a football coach a long time, so he brings a lot of knowledge and asset to the program. I think Rolandis Cox, we all know Coach Cox. We're excited to have Coach Cox back. Just a guy that brings a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, a big part of the New Albany community. And I think we talked about it, he spent 12 years in New Albany. So grateful he's back and just excited about that. To go along with those guys, we've got some guys at the junior high that help us out a lot. Drew Davis is going to be on the sidelines Friday nights. Khalil Patterson's there. So we're very fortunate to have a staff of people from the high school and the middle school that impact us at the high school in this program.
Division pretty much stays the same this year. Byhalia, North Pontotoc, South Pontotoc, Senatobia, and New Albany.
Yeah, you got to say Senatobia is the favorite every year. They won it last year, so you're going to give them that title. But know that we're going to compete with them. We're going to get out there. All of our kids are looking forward to that game. It's the first game of the division when we get to that. It'll be here this year, so we're excited about that. We're getting to play them at home. But Carter Norris does a great job. They're athletic and does a really good job. So that's a matchup that we're excited about. Crotwell at North Pontotoc does a good job there. They're always going to be gritty and tough. South Pontotoc Coach Cook, and then Byhalia kind of rounds it out. But I definitely think us and Senatobia are at the top of that division. We're not going to take anybody lightly, but we've got to play each week. But a lot of us are looking forward to that Senatobia game, though, for sure.
Big expectations coming into the year. Got 6 returning offensive starters. Starts out with your quarterback, 3-year starter Braden Shettles. I know you're glad to have him as a leader there.
Yeah, absolutely. Braden gives us. I tell people he gives us a chance every play. Whether it's an inside run, he sees something and can hot route it. Whether it's a deep pass and he extends the play or makes the play. Things can break down and Braden can extend them and good things can happen. So he can make all the throws. He can run the football, and that's something. Braden, he's 6'1", 6'2". He's about 85 pounds now, so he's not a small kid anymore. So we're going to utilize that. He runs well. You're going to see Braden tuck the ball and run a little bit more this year, and so we're excited about that. We think that'll give us an advantage over some other teams. It's one thing when you can go spread, line those guys out, and see what a defense is going to do. If they give you a 5-man box, there's a lot of times he's going to run the ball. With that, some experience back at the offensive line, that we're excited about that. We tell those guys every year we're going to go as far as O-line, D-line carry us. We think it's just it's a huge part of the game of football. And then we still think we've got playmakers on the edge. You've got Jeb Bolin that can play every position out there for us. We're going to get Jeb the ball. He runs great routes, catches the ball well. DJ Robinson's a guy that's going to be moved around a lot. You may see him in the backfield. You're going to see him at slot. Trey King's a young guy that you don't know yet, but you're going to know him. He's a sophomore. He's going to be starting at the X receiver spot. I think Trey gives us the speed to stretch the field. So we're excited about that. Then you've got guys like Isaiah Simpson that's played some last year, so he's bringing some experience. You've got guys like Braden Thompson that'll roll in at receiver. You've got guys like McKyle and Cameron that can play a lot of different places. and Xavier Coleman can do some stuff too. So I think we got a little bit more depth than we've had, I think, in the past. We've got to have some young guys step up at the same time. We need Trey King to be a guy for us. We need Isaiah Simpson to do things. But we know who some of our guys are. We know we can count on Jed Bowl and DJ Robinson to make plays. One of the bright spots from the Jamboree was Nehemiah Boyd ran the ball really hard and effectively. So getting him going right there does some good things for us. You're also going to see a guy like Colin Knox. You know, his brother is Cam Knox. It's at Southern Miss. So athletic family. He certainly gives us some explosiveness. So just you heard a lot of names there, and so we're still kind of weeding through some of those things. But honestly, we think there's a lot of guys that can help impact the game for us, and we're excited about that offensively.
Jeb made a good catch in the scrimmage game this past week, about a 70-something yard touchdown pass.
Just a vertical concept where he beat the guy, and linked up with Braden, and then made the guy miss and kept going. So
showed a little speed.
Yeah, he did show a little speed. That's something that he's got. Jeb's he's just dependable. He's scrappy. He's fast. He has a lot of characteristics that you look for in a good football player.
Got 15 seniors this year. DJ Robinson, wide receiver, defensive back. Say a little bit about DJ.
Yeah, well, DJ's a guy that's not going to come off the field. He needs to be on there. We talked a little bit more about offensively, but go back defensively. DJ is one of those guys at safety. Jeb Boland's a guy at safety. We've got a lot of linebackers, back. Parker Skinner, Parker Hicks, and Zion Robinson will be there. But you got guys like Cade Pipkin, Keaton Young, guys that can roll in and let's not drop down any. So depth is what we talked about on offense. It's there on defense also. So at linebacker, we got a lot of guys that can play the position. D-line is a spot that we think can be really special for us this year. Isaiah Gilbert is going to be a defensive end. Jaden Hicks will be on the other side. Young guy, there'll be a couple young guys in there. Jackson Howard will be a junior defensive tackle. And then Jaden Foster is a guy that's going to start right now for us at defensive tackle. So an athletic group right there that we really think can impact the game. And those guys are not going to play a lot on the other side of the ball, is the hope. We think we're good enough and deep enough to primarily play guys on one side of the ball or the other. That offensive line, not having guys go both ways, we think can be really, really important for us going into the fourth quarter of these early games.
That's a lot of experience as far as for you got upperclassmen, then you got some young guys coming in there and putting in some minutes, don't you?
And that's what I said. I think we've got a really good balance of guys. We're not solely dependent on seniors or juniors or sophomores. There's guys sprinkled in there in that lineup and that depth chart that can all play. So, I always tend to be optimistic, but, we really like this team, like the guys, like how they're performing, how they're practicing. And just looking forward to get it going. So, but yeah, those seniors are a critical piece to that. We talk about leadership, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. Leadership is critical. Those guys have been through the program. The vast majority of them have been here all 4 years. Like I said, this is year 7. So these guys have been with us all the way through junior high. So they know on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of game week what the routine is going to be. They know the expectation. And I think they're excited about it. We played a JV game last night against Pontotoc, and our JV guys won 32-8. And just seeing those young guys compete, have fun, have success, it was a special night for them. And just guys like Tadarius Dixon and Colin Knox and Braden Thompson had a big play. Cam Ray's a talented young man that's playing quarterback. It was a lot of fun. So a lot of guys from top to bottom, from senior all the way to freshman, that we're excited about. But again, those seniors are important to us. There's 15 of them. And every one of them is going to impact this season.
Got 15 seniors, 10 juniors, 23 sophomore, and 22 freshmen is what I got off the roster.
And those bottom classes, our goal is those 22 and 23 in that 8th and 9th grade to when they get to be seniors, us still have around that 20 number. I think the benefits for football far outseed whether or not I'm the one scoring the touchdown or not. They're contributing, they're working hard. Football is a great example of life in the sense that you have to overcome adversity day in and day out. In a football game, you have to overcome adversity. Everything's not always going to go just right. At some point in the game, there's going to be, hopefully not a turnover, but there's going to be something not go your way, and how do we respond? Or even if things are going your way, do you keep your foot on the gas? Do you keep, being positive? Do you keep going things the right way? or do you slack off and then something bad happens? So responding the right way is what we're going to focus on a lot.
Kicking game as well is in good hands. Got Grayson Alexander. They're returning, kicking extra points. I think he's missed one in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And he's replacing the punter this year.
Well, Grayson gives us a chance, again, just like Braden gives us a chance offensively every play. Anytime Grayson's on the field, he gives us a chance to be successful. Whether that's punting, he's going to punt some this year. Whether it's kickoff, he can do special things. His leg, he's getting taller, he's gotten a little bit bigger. And we've been around a while, but he's only a sophomore. Right. So it's exciting what he's going to do this year, but what he's going to do as a junior and senior also. Right. He's got an exceptional leg. He's a smart kid. He knows the fundamentals of kicking. He goes to camps. He's a soccer kid. He's got it, so to speak. He's just got to stay in his head, keep working hard, keep pushing the right way. But he's got the ability to put the ball in the end zone on kickoffs. He may not do it every time, but a lot of the time he will, and we're excited about that. Because if you can make a team start on 25 consistently from a defense, Coach Murphy and the defensive guys, and me included, are going to be really excited about that. So that's a huge asset alone. But not only can he kick it deep left, he can sky it right. He can do surprise stuff. He's very talented. If he needs to kick it with his left foot, he can kick it with his left foot. And then, like I said, anytime the field goal or extra point unit's on the board, we tell our guys all the time, if you're on the field, points are at stake. So it's a big deal. And so we're excited when he's out there because we know he can kick it. He's out at practice kicking the ball way up on the hill, and you start doing the math up there. He can kick a 50-yard field goal. He can just do it consistently. So that's exciting. We got a guy named Caleb George. That's another soccer guy that's come down there with him. Caleb's going to punt some, kick some. Both of them are sophomores. So kicking game's in good shape, and we're excited about that. Jeb Boland's going to do a lot of our specialty stuff. He'll hold, he'll return kicks. A young guy that's going to impact the game immediately that everybody doesn't know about is A.J. Kerbo. A.J. is going to snap for us. It's a guy, that gets up every morning at 6 o'clock, goes over there. You'll have Braden throwing and shooting basketball, and you'll have A.J. over there in the gym long snapping. So that goes back to those guys working hard on their own, developing a skill set. A.J. is a guy that, his dad coaches, so he's seen that work ethic, all those things. His dad's been hard on him and is demanding and has a high expectation for him. He's taken that and developed that long snapping ability and is doing a really good job for us. So we're excited about that now. He's going to look a little funny out there with Sam on one side and Maui on the other side doing field goals because they're big. But A.J., he's not scared. He gets out there. He does it. He's doing a good job at slot receiver for us also. So, but we're excited about a lot of those specialty guys, the snappers, the holders, kickers, all of it. So it's going to be good there too.
Good deal.
Well, we'll take you to a break now, and we'll be right back with you with Inside New Albany Football with Coach Cody Stubblefield.
It's finally game time. The smell of the fresh cut grass, the sound of the drums as the band gets ready to perform, and of course the roar of the crowd as our hometown New Albany Bulldogs enter the field. Jody Walls and Brady Brock with Gumtree Mortgage here in New Albany remember those days and agree they were some of the best. They also want your mortgage experience to be the best as well. They pride themselves on excellent customer service and establishing a personal connection with their clients. They also have the knowledge and programs to fit your mortgage needs. So whether you're building, buying, or refinancing your current home, they want to help. Call them and set up an appointment today. Jody Walls and Brady Brock with Gumtree Mortgage. Let them help make your dreams come true. Go Dogs!
All right, Coach, welcome back to the show. Defense. Our defense is, we've got high hopes for them this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about them.
Turning 8 guys on defense from starters from last year.
So a lot of experience there. I think you said a minute ago 7 out of your top tacklers.
7 out of your top 10 tacklers, starting off with your leading tackler from last year, Jeb Boland, had 78 tackles.
We talked a little bit about Jeb earlier offensively. Defensively, he's a safety for us. He does a good job back there. He's not scared to come down and hit people. Like you said, he led us in tackles. Jeb's just, I think I saw a tweet from Coach Hammond that said, Jeb's the Swiss Army knife of football, and that's a pretty accurate statement. He can do a lot of things for us, but Jeb's a leader on both sides of the ball for us. On defense, he's coming down making tackles. He's also in coverage and whatnot. Just does a really good job for us.
Jaden Hicks, your number 2 tackler from last year, 64 tackles on the year. Special player.
Yeah, Jaden's a guy that impacts the game. He's going to be primarily in that defensive spot. They'll do some different packages where they move him around. But his first 2 steps are extremely quick. We talked yesterday about him being violent with his hands, getting his hands on contact, swiping, doing different things, just being violent because that's the kind of kid he is. But teams will start running away from him at times. He really impacts the game and he shortens the field. So just excited about what he can do when it's 3rd and long. He's coming. But he's a good player on 1st and 2nd down also. Just does a lot of really good things.
Number 3 tackler from last year was McCollin Cameron with 62 tackles.
Yeah, McCollin's a guy that you'll see at corner. He's been our number 1 corner the past couple of years. Anybody that comes in and has a top receiver, a lot of times McCollin will get matched up with him. And that's not to say Jalen Nesbitt's not good, because Jalen's doing a really good job also. But McCollin has been that guy in the past for us. You'll also see McCollin. We've got 2 guys going both ways primarily right now. That's Jeb and DJ. So if one of those guys need a break, a lot of times McCollin will go to safety for him, and we'll bring again a guy like Jay Boone at corner. So you'll see McCollin in different spots. He's on a lot of our special teams. He's a senior that you can depend on, that brings leadership to the table, but does a lot of really good things.
And he'll hit you in the mouth.
He will hit you. I mean, he does. And like I said, he's a coverage guy. He doesn't mind taking everybody's best receiver and trying to lock him down either.
Number 5 from last year, Parker Skinner with 57 tackles on the year.
And Parker's a junior, but he's got a lot of experience as a junior. Played some as a freshman, played a lot after injuries last year. So he's a guy that I think is one of the leaders out there for the defense. He's a tough kid. He gets after you, scrappy. And just he's in the right space at the right times. One thing we talked about yesterday, Coach Murphy talked about those guys kind of getting there a little bit too quickly and trying to almost slow them down just a tad so that they don't get there too fast, something to develop off of it. But that goes back to that experience. They've done it so many times. Those guys can attest to it every day during pre-practice. They're going to be down there with Coach Summers, and they're going to be going over footwork in their steps. And so they do that every day and consistently. And in the game, you see it. You see those 1-2, those steps. And so they do a good job. Parker's one of those guys.
Zion Robinson, he was number 6 tackler from last year, 51 tackles on the year.
Yeah, Zion's a guy that after the Jamboree we talked a lot about, maybe that was one of his best football. Zion's done different things. He's played running back. He's played different spots at linebacker. I think he's finally, as a senior, he's kind of gotten to that spot where this is his spot. This is where he's playing, and he's doing it really well. So thought he played extremely well in the Jamboree the other night, and just looking forward to him having a great senior year.
DJ Robinson as well as top tackler with 34.
DJ's that other safety for us right now. Like I said, he's going to be seen on both sides of the ball. DJ played a little outside linebacker for us in different packages. He has the ability to come down and play more of a linebacker type position. He's a guy kind of like Jeb that can do a lot of different things for us. So DJ's an important piece of this season.
Yeah. Emmanuel Tucker was number 9 tackler, but my understanding he's going to play mostly on the offensive side.
So right now, like I said, we're trying to limit some of those big guys, especially into playing one way. Emmanuel's transitioned to the offensive side of the ball. He did play some the other night at defensive tackle, and you're going to see him from time to time on the defensive line because he's certainly going to play that. Anytime you've got a 6'5", 285-pound guy, he's going to impact the game for us. So he's going to play right tackle for the majority of the time. Emmanuel had a great offseason. He's got that size, speed, quickness, and schools have recognized that, obviously, and he's gotten some offers, and he's got a lot of things positive going for him. He's got to continue to learn the game of football from an offensive line standpoint, just because it's something he hasn't done a lot of. But the sky's the limit for Emmanuel. He does a really good job. And then, part of that is a guy like Isaac Gilbert. Isaac Gilbert is opposite Jaden Hicks of that other defensive end, so you can't run away from Jaden Hicks because you're running right to Isaac Gilbert over there. Isaac Gilbert's a 6'6", 230-pound kid with a 6'10" wingspan who can also play some left tackle if we need him to. So, just it goes back to that talent we talked about. I think from a defensive line standpoint, this may be one of the best defensive line New Albany's ever had in the history of New Albany football.
I was going to mention Isaiah. Just his play this past week in the Jamboree did very well. He was coming off tackle or off blocks, making tackles in the backfield. Great guy.
He's a basketball player. He's got good feet. He's so long. One thing that people don't know about Isaac, that he is violent with his hands too. I mean, he's shooting his hands. He's locking guys out. He's physical. He just does a lot of really good things for us. One way I think about our team, offensive line, defensive line standpoint, when we started O-line, we've got JT Newby, a guy that's got playing time before at left tackle. Then you've got Michael Hernandez, a guy that started for us last year late. You've got a guy like Brady Horn, who's played a lot. He's a senior. He's a 600-pound squat kid, does a lot of really good things. Then you go over to Sam Morton, who started every game last year at right guard. And then you've got Tucker, a guy with 16-something D1 offers. A lot of talent there. Right. Then you flip it to the defensive line, who I think may be the best defensive line New Albany's ever had, with Jaden Hicks, Isaac Gilbert, a young guy that people don't know yet a whole lot about is Jaden Foster, who's just extremely quick, can do things, can shoot gaps. You're going to find out about Jaden Foster real quick. And then Jackson Howard, who did really well the other night in the Jamboree. Jackson's a guy that we've tried to pull over the offensive line a little bit, but again, in that sense of trying to limit those guys a little bit and let them play one way so they can be effective or play at a higher capacity. He's done so well at defensive line. We haven't done that. He stayed there. He's been a staple there, and he's doing a really good job.
You mentioned 44. He's an impressive-looking kid.
That's Jaden Foster, like I said. He's a sophomore. Played a little bit last year as a ninth grade.
44.
He's had an offensive lineman number in the past. And I don't know what the deal is with offensive line. Offensive lineman loved it one night. But there's something about it when you get a chance to rush that quarterback, get a sack. I mean, there's obviously some limelight there, but I played defensive line in high school too, and I get it. So it's a lot of fun. But Jade does a good job. Jaden has a skill set that's not all that common. I mean, we talked to him a lot about bulking up a little bit because he's gotten taller and lengthened out a little bit. I think he can put some weight on. But he's another special player. Like I said, he's just a sophomore. So he's got to keep his head on straight. He's got to do right. He's got to, just like all of our guys. But he gives us a chance to be really good and see some special things. And I go back one more time to some depth there. You can see guys like Brian Hernandez. You can see guys like Devin Jones. You can see a lot of guys can roll in there and play defensive line, whether it's Mason Keener or Chance Robinson. A lot of guys can roll in there and give us reps at D-line, just like we talked about those linebackers with Cade Pitkin and Keaton Young doing those things. So, and even if they're not starting there, those guys impact the game a lot on special teams. Cade and Keaton, they won't come off the field on the special teams. They're on just about every one of them.
Played Boonville and Nettleton this past week in Jamboree. What did you learn about your team after that game?
I honestly think we're talented. We've got a chance to be a really good football team. I think we moved the ball effectively against Boonville, and we started getting some offensive penalties. We had a turnover inside the red zone. Things that got to clean up. You're not going to be successful if you have those penalties and turnovers. So we didn't score against Boonville. We moved the ball effectively, so we saw some good things. We also don't really game plan specifically for those jamborees. We focus on ourselves a lot, and we'll show them the defense and whatnot, but we're not scheming and develop a game plan like we will in week one. So offensively, that kind of takes it a little bit longer to get going. Defensively, Boonville and Nettleton didn't score, so they did a good job. They had trouble moving the football. And then against Nettleton, the offense got going again. So both games, offensively, we moved the football, need to clean some things up, and defensively, they didn't give up any points. So you pitching shutouts, you got to feel good about that kind of thing.
We got Saltillo this coming week. They're coming off a 4-8 season this past year. They reached the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. So I know their coach, Ryan Finch, been there 3 years. And I know they were excited to make it to the playoffs, and I know they're wanting to continue on that. But tell us a little bit about what you know about it.
Ryan Finch is a guy that you're very familiar with. Know Ryan. They're going to be tough, scrappy kids. Just the demeanor and the mentality that he brings to the table. Defensively, they're going to be sound and solid. I think their linebackers are probably the leaders for their team defensively. 44 is a kid that played for them last year. I think when I looked at it earlier, they had lost 9 starters off the defense, but he was one of them. So he's back. He appears to be a leader for them. He's a guy that plays really well. They're not small up front. They've got some size out there. A little small in the secondary, but they're pretty quick though. So they're playing a 3-3 stack. So it's something that that we our guys have seen before. It's what Nettleton did this past week. So we've got to make sure we've got a good game plan in. We've got to make sure every week you win the line of scrimmage. The offensive line's got to come off and do a good job. And then we've got to get the playmakers the ball. So I think our guys match up well. I think if we can get them the ball in some space, they're going to have big plays, obviously. And then defensively, I just think our defensive line is going to be able to take care of them. They're going to be a run-heavy team, a lot of tight end, a lot of H-back sets where they're creating gaps or bringing bigger people into the game. I think that kind of bodes well for us because that's who we're going to have out there a lot of the time. So I know Coach Murphy's going to have some different things based on those personnel packages that he's got ready. But just like how we match up, like what we've got there. But no, it's going to be a good challenge. They're a 6A team, one of the bigger schools in our area, and so anytime you have that, you've got a lot of kids to pull from, and so there's going to be talent on the field. So they're in a really tough division in that they play in.
Yes,
they are. So we've got to take them. We beat them last year. A lot of really good things happened early for us, and then kind of let them slowly get back in the game. So we've got to play well. I think if we play well, we're going to be fine. And that just goes back to the confidence in our team. I think they're a good football team. I think they're coached well. I just think we're a little better.
Yeah, Saltillo is not an unfamiliar opponent for some of us older folks who's been around here a long time. We've actually played them 24 times. New Albany's won 20 of the 24 games. Last year we were able to win 31-23. The last time we lost to Saltillo was in 1999, so most of you kids on your team hadn't already born. But you mentioned their division: South Panola, Lake Cormorant, Grenada, Olive Branch, and Center Hill. Yeah. Very, very tough division. Absolutely. I know Grenada and South Panola are two huge games on their schedule. Sure. But
Lake Cormorant's got a lot of talent, a lot of Division I players up there year in and year out. So like you said, it's a tough division. And so as far as New Albany, we haven't played them in a while, right? I think this is the first time. I know this is my 7 years here, and then I was at Lafayette and Tupelo, and then was here with Coach Price. Yeah. Over my 10 years, we've only played them one time, so this is the second time that I will have played them since I've been around. So, like you said, I think we played them years ago for a while, and kind of for whatever reason it fell off. But
used to be a division game for us.
Yeah. Well, and they're going. We've already, we're starting to work on the schedules a little bit for the next year, and so the expectation is for us to play them week 1 the next 2 years also. So it's a matchup that you'll keep seeing, I believe.
They played Pontotoc in the Jamboree this past Friday night. I believe Saltillo won 7-0 over Pontotoc in that Jamboree.
And they scripted some plays. Basically, Jamboree, you get a half of football. So Pontotoc's gone to a double wing kind of offense. So basically, from evaluating their defense, you got to see personnel. You saw some of the matchups. You saw some of the players. But you didn't really see them against what we're going to do offensively. But you did get to see their offense. You saw their tight ends, their H-backs. They use the quarterback. That is a very good athlete and runs the ball well. He's going to have to be a guy obviously that we tackle and break down. Just because he can hurt you. They got a good running back, and they're going to be run heavy. So again, I think that bodes well because we feel so good about our box and our defensive linemen. But they're going to be talented. Like I said, they're a big school. And they're going to come in here, trying to win. So, we'll go to Saltillo. First time I've ever played over there in my 15-year career. So, excited about that. Our guys just, you go through so much. The off season, the summer workouts, camp, and now it's finally game week. And so we're excited about that.
Good luck Friday night, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm ready for those guys to go out there and have fun. They got to do it last night against Pontotoc with the JV guys. Now it's time for those varsity guys to get to do it. Football, you start getting goosebumps about it when it gets time to it. But we've gotten to evaluate film. We've gotten to scheme and game plan. We've had one practice in the book so far. Today will be their second practice. Looking forward to it. Down there in that hole down there, they get after it, they sweat, they go through a lot, and it's not always fun out there. I tell them but it's always going to be worth it. Those Friday nights are special. Right. These guys, I think they're going to feel the same way I did when they're my age, or even in 5 or 10 years when they're done. They're going to look back in that time in the locker room, that time on the field on Friday nights is going to be special. And I'm glad we got the guys we got.
Gotcha.
Well, thank you for tuning in to Inside New Albany Football with Coach Cody Stubblefield. I'm Paul Henry and David Good. Good luck as you go to Saltillo this week.
Appreciate it.
Brought to you by Gumtree Morgan and Jody Walls.
Jody Walls. I think this is the 3rd or 4th year we've done the coaches show. Jody Walls has been a big supporter of us. Him over there at Gumtree. So if you got any mortgage or financial needs, make sure you go see Jody. But we appreciate what they do for us in our program.
All right. Thank you, and go Bulldogs.